Hello everyone, welcome to this session. My name is Hongjin. I'm the current director of the CNYSP program, which is the NTU Premium Scholarship Program. In the following, I'm going to give you an overview of the CNYSP program, covering all the different aspects, including curriculum structures, research opportunities, uniqueness, some highlights, as well as what our graduates are doing now, where are they, and all different kind of opportunities and privileges of CNYSP scholars. So I hope you can stay with me. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm going to introduce you guys the CNYSP Scholars Program, which is one of the premium undergraduate scholar program of NTU. So my name is Hongjin. I'm the current director of the program. So what is the CNYSP program? It's named after the Professor Chen Yang, who is a Nobel laureate in physics in 1957 about basic particles and high energy physics. So Professor Yang met our scholars at this is a photo shows that Professor Yang met our scholars at the conference dinner in honor of his 85th birthday. And since 2006, Professor Yang launched this Yang Special Scholar Program in NTU. And interesting next year, so this year, 2021, will mark the 15th anniversary of this scholar program. Currently, we have 3 directors. I'm the main director. We also have a Professor Xu Zhichuan Jason, who is a deputy director from the School of Material Science Engineering, and also Associate Professor Zhang Baile, assistant director from School of Physical Mathematical Science. Okay. So we're working on different aspects of the program, some in charge of research, some in charge of the curriculums. Okay. So what is new in NTU? NTU 2025 will have a very different education system. So probably also hear this new education system in other introductions, but in CNYSP programs, we also have to reshape our curriculums accordingly. The first one is interdisciplinary collaborative core, called ICC. So this interdisciplinary collaborative core means that every NTU students will take the courses from other schools in addition to the main courses from your own schools. And not only just optional, but it's compulsory courses. And we also have this experiential and collaborative learning called ECL. And we also require every NTU students to participate in the internship. So previously some programs, some schools have the internship, but not all. Okay. So now we ask that every school must have opportunities for our undergraduate students to involve the internships. Okay. This internship can be internal, can be also external. So many, let's say, local industries, okay, and even overseas university, overseas industries. We also have future-ready graduates and lifelong learners. That means when you finish undergraduate courses or graduate courses, go to industry, you can still have chances to keep lifelong learning. You can still have a chance to keep connection with NTU to further your learnings. What's the rationale of CNYSP program is that the main advantage, the main uniqueness of a CNYSP program is that students have more chances than main cohort for research and innovations. So we want to train exceptional students for science with a passion for science, engineering, math, and to do research and innovations. And the core to develop the core expertise and through the core disciplines, that means from your main schools. And then we also have multidisciplinary learnings, meaning that in the first year, we're going to see later that in the first year, all the CNYSP scholars will take courses from different schools. So that means, let's say if a student from chemistry, you also take courses from biology and physics, okay? And although it's just one or two courses, but it's quite beyond your main core courses, okay? And also have international exposure. This is a major advantage of CNYSP scholars, that every scholars are entitled to go overseas learning trip, as well as oversee final year projects, okay, up to from 5 months up to 8 months, could be even more. Okay, And all these travels will be subsidized by a CN program. And the key features of this program is that first, we have integrated science education, also called integrated interdisciplinary co-teachings. For example, in year 1, we have foundation courses for a CN program. 1 bio, 1 chem, 1 math, 2 physics courses, 2 physics, and 1 climate change courses. Climate change is not just climate change. Actually, in climate change, it also involves physics, math models, chemistry, and also bio, right? It's very, very interdisciplinary courses that are unique for a CN program. And we are thinking to allow our students, we're thinking to create more flexibilities that allow our scholars to choose 5 courses out of 6 foundation of courses in year 1. So this is still pending approval. And between year 1 and year 2 special term, we have this special making and tinkering courses, which is a typical courses for interdisciplinary learning between science and engineering. So we divide the students into groups. Every group, about 4 to 5 students from different backgrounds, some from bio, some from physics, some from chemistry, working together towards a project. And this project, the project can be created by yourself, okay? Can be also given projects by our mentors, okay? So your students will receive supervision, will receive a mentor from faculties, okay, during the course. And from year 2 onwards, you'll have a school course. That means you'll take those core courses from your own schools. Research and innovation centricity. In year 1, we have some courses designed to introduce how to do research. What is research about and how to do research? So basic methodology of research. And we also have a research experience that in 1 semester, you can go to a faculty's lab, any faculty you want to do research, to expose yourself to the lab environments to get an idea of how research is being done. Okay. In addition to, as I mentioned just now, making and tinkerings, as well as a research attachment. This is a year 2 research attachment. Okay. And in year 3 and onwards, we have our overseas and local final year projects. Why I put the local is because of COVID-19 was still situation still, the pandemic still not lifted up. So we may replace with a local FYP. Of course, you also do not have to go to overseas FYP even in a normal time. You can still choose to find a project in local industries. This is up to 8 months, 5 months for engineer students and 8 months for science students. And we also have a humanities-centric courses. For example, about writings across the disciplines, about ethics, okay. And we also have a PhD program with a scholarship. This is optional because if you want to continue your PhD study with the NTU, then you will be guaranteed with the scholarships. Okay, so this is also an extra privilege for our CN scholars. So this comes to benefits of CN scholars. Basically, you can receive a lot of allowance from us, from the CN office, that you probably do not need to get any financial assistance from your parents. Okay. So we have a full coverage of the subsidized tuition fees. This is after tuition grants. That means you don't need to pay any for the tuitions. We have a living allowance of 6,500 per academic year. This is the cash, okay? For paying your transportation, your food, everything, your sports and use of some or even let's say you top up your some cars, things like that. And also have accommodation allowance up to 2,000 per academic year for one, okay, for hall stay in NTU. As I mentioned, all the CN scholars will guaranteed have a hall stay in this very high luxury hall, Pioneer and Crescent halls. So you're guaranteed to stay there, and your hall fees will be paid by CN office, which is 2,000 per academic year. But if selected more, you have to top up by yourself. We also have travel opportunity for every scholars. That means for overseas program, this overseas programs includes overseas learning trip and conferences. Probably it's mainly for conferences. You attend a conference, this is pay your airfare, accommodation, registration fees, 5,000 capped. Okay, and I also have the one-off computer allowance of 1,750, which is good enough to buy a very high-tech HP or ThinkPad. Other scholarships, in addition to senior scholarship from NTU, we also have some other scholarships like AUS for merits, OAR, DSO, or A-star, PSA, MINDEF, or DSTA scholarships. Okay. Important thing is that usually a lot of foreigner students, if they receive scholarship, study NTU for 4 years, they have a bond. That means they have to work for some years, let's say 3 to 6 years after graduation in Singapore. However, for senior scholars, there's no bond. Okay, that means after finishing 4-year study, you want to go overseas, you want to go MIT, Harvard, PhD, you can go. You want to take a job outside Singapore, you can also go. This is no problem. Okay. Who can join this CN program? Mainly is for science engineering students. Okay, so far it's not for humanities, arts, and social sciences. Okay, so it's not for programs with a second major and business minor, and not for double degree programs, and not for integrated program like a BSc plus MSc program, because this is mainly undergraduate premium scholarship programs. So all science students, including physics, chemistry, bio, and math, and all engineering students, all the different schools in engineering college can join the CN programs. So after your A-level exams, you'll probably be invited to interview to the CN Scholar Program. So why we don't include the double degree programs? Because we have double degree program before, is because we think we have redesigned our curriculum in a way that you already learned a lot of different things beyond your school curriculums. So if you take another degree, probably you are not able to cope with it, okay? Because you take much more AUs. But we can do minor degree program. We can take, let's say, double majors, okay? Second major or minor majors, okay? So still have a lot of opportunities to mingle with students from other schools. So the curriculum structure, this is an overview of the CN curriculum structures. On the left-hand side, the top one, maybe I can show my laser. So the top one is a school core courses and a major PE plus broadening electives. Okay, this is the blue one mainly come from your own school, and then we have a experiential collaborative learning. This is across schools, interdisciplinary and research attachments. Okay, and this one is interdisciplinary collaborative core ICC. This applies to all NTU students, including of course to CN scholars. So the core courses, this courses includes navigating the digital world, including kickstart your career success for a VUCA world, and science and technology for humanities. So there's an integration between science and technology and humanities. And this will be big things in NTU in terms of education and research. And also sustainabilities, including human, social, economic, and environmental sustainabilities. Okay, sustainability is not just environments and earth and climate change stuff. It also includes the business, social science, and economics, right? And also have a health, living, and mental well-beings. Okay. On the right side, the red one is a CNYSP core courses. As I mentioned, also the biology, chemistry, climate change, 2 math, 2 physics. So we have in total, actually including climate change, is total 7 core courses. Okay. So if let's say excluding climate change, we have a 6. So we're thinking let our students to choose 5 out of the 6 core courses. And I keep emphasizing that we have a very profound opportunity for students to take research. In courses, we have a course in year 1 for introduction to research. So in these courses, you do projects. You will have seminars by faculties or by junior students, graduate students, to teach you how to do research and what is research about and the basic methodologies. And you will also have hands-on experience in professors' labs. Okay, and this is called undergraduate research experience, Eureka, and also have research attachment. We'll have 2 research attachments with the professors. Okay, that means you can do 2 semesters research. Okay, and if you end up with a very let's say productive results, then you can also continue with the FYP with the professors. Okay, and then later I'm going to show that if you end up with a journal publications after this research experience with the professors, you can receive awards. Okay. And most importantly, which is many students and the parents feel passionate about, is the overseas funding project. It means you can spend from 5 months up to 8 months overseas in whatever universities you're interested in. Of course, we have a list of universities that our students usually go. And you can take those from the list, but also you can choose the university you're more interested to explore. Even let's say even Korea, even Japan, Australia, New Zealand, you can choose the one you want to go. Okay, and then our office will help to build up to the connections with them. So we also have an overseas learning trip, which is up to 10 days, about 10 days or 2 weeks overseas learning trip to attach to overseas research institutes or research centers or universities. Okay, and visit the labs and listen to seminars. So this overview of curriculum for science students. As I already mentioned in the previous slides, this is just give you an idea. You will see this in the e-brochures, okay? And this is the same thing for engineering students, okay? Now I'm going to give you some highlights of CNYSP program. The courses, first one, undergraduate research experience, I keep mentioning just now, is for you guys to attach to any NTU lab of your own choice. See, there's a lot of flexibilities. Any NTU research lab, it could be theoretical, computational, it could be experimental. And of course, you may not have no idea, don't know any professor, no problem, we can help you to identify. You can also get advices from the seniors, right? And you're gonna conduct experiments, gonna analyze the data. You can learn how to write academic report. You can learn how to present your research. That means it's communication skills, okay? So you're gonna have to present your results in poster or oral presentations. And the other course is CY 2003, we call Research Attachment 3, which is making and tinkering. So in this course, as mentioned, you will have a group of 2 to 4 students from different schools, different background, different expertise. And you're gonna lessons on Arduino and 3D printings. Of course, this is 2 examples. You may have many, many other lessons. For example, you learn how to make a 3D printings, and how to set up the models, and how to print the things. You may even be able to build up your own 3D printers, which can be controlled remotely. Okay. And course outcome for this making and tinkering is that you learn how to design, make, and build something fun, and perhaps even be useful using the science engineering concepts they know. And you can also learn how to solve the real-life problems in multidisciplinary teams, okay, and develop the hands-on and practical expertise. So actually, when we have sort of a road show at the end of the courses in the School of Physical Mathematical Science, I once attended the road show, and during the road show, we'll invite judges from different schools and even from external companies, okay. For example, we have a company from Dyson, okay, or a company from local semiconductor fabs. They come down to see the projects by our scholars. If they're very interested, they may put up some money and to ask you to further optimize it until a prototype product. These examples, first one example is a flying observation drone, okay. And this is pi interactions. And this one is illumination and water illuminations, okay. So this, as you can see, this project is really, it does not belong to, let's say, physics or biology or chemistry. It's really something you're targeted to solving some problems using very creative and multidisciplinary methods, okay. We have many, many other projects available for you to choose, okay. And for research award, if you publish a journal article in a good journal, usually all the professors want to publish in good journals, during the research attachments, either attachment 1, 2, or 3, you will be able to receive awards. For example, this example of the paper on Physics Review B, which is very, very high reputation, highly reputed journals in physics. So Alvin will be the first author, is our senior scholars. Pinaki is my colleague in physics department. So like this example shown above, you receive a gold award for first authors, which is 3,000 cash, okay, plus some trophy or certificates. Or if it's a co-first author, which means the second, sometimes journals have two first authors, the first one and the second one. The second one, the co-first author, which would be half. If it's a co-author somewhere in between, let's say second or the third, you will be entitled with a silver award, okay? Or if the results has not been published, it's pending publication, let's say it's submitted with some evidence, and you will receive a merit award, about 500, okay? Because if something is already ready for submissions, sooner or later get published somewhere. Maybe not the journal you first choose, it'll be published anyway in another journal. Conference is very important method to present your research and for you to meet people from other institutions or other universities to interact, okay? So we do encourage our scholars to attend conferences, both local conferences. We have a lot of important local conferences in Singapore, as well as international conferences, okay? All will be subsidized, okay? Your travel will be subsidized by our senior scholars. So if you go to international conferences, you have subsidized for oral or poster presentations as first author. You will provide airfare, registration fee, accommodation, visa, insurance, which is capped at 2,000. Okay, by case, because some countries more expensive than other countries. Okay. And if a local conference, then it's also case by case basis. If it's just attending local conference, which is also fine. But if you present in the first authors, probably need to pay the registration fee. We can also cover it. Okay. And these are examples of our scholars attending local and overseas conferences. For example, this is a conference in Hawaii, in USA, and this is a conference in San Francisco presenting a poster. These guys are presenting posters, and also Qing, a poster presenting and the first author at American Geophysics Union. This should be a very important conferences, okay, in Washington D.C. And this is a local conference at National University of Singapore, and these three students should give a talk in the conference. And this is also oral presentation by Yu Kai Wen. And in the oral presentation, the first author at the 17th European Turbulence Conferences in Italy. This is not a local one, this is Italy. Okay. And this is a student presenting a conference in Ireland as a highly commended awardees in the 2019 Global Undergraduate Awards. I'll come back to this Global Undergraduate Awards again. So come back to this journal publication, we have some statistics. So this is a number of publications per year. 2019 we have a 14 paper, but last year probably because of COVID-19 is that we have a limited lab accesses, and also international travelers are not allowed. So probably there's a reduction of the publication numbers. Okay. And overseas funding projects, the number of students participate in the overseas OFYP is increasing. And this is actually every students are entitled to go OFYP. This is a distribution in countries. For example, most students prefer to USA, probably because US have more universities and more top universities. And the next one is the UK. And then the students also go to Switzerland, Netherlands, other European countries like Spain to explore very different cultures. Some students maybe want to practice a language, let's say Korean language or Japanese language, they can also go to Korea and Japan. Okay. And recently, the MOE, Singapore Ministry of Education, want to strengthen the awareness of Singaporeans or Singapore students of the ASEAN countries, the local environments. So that means we also encourage our students to take overseas learning trip or overseas exchange programs or FYP in ACI countries. ACI means ASEAN countries, China and India. So actually China have a lot of top universities, also Tsinghua, Peking, Zheda, University of Science and Technology in China, University of Science and Technology in Shenzhen. So you can also go there to explore. These are examples of the university our students go. For left is top 3 MIT, Imperial College London, UK, and ETH in Zurich, in Switzerland. And also many other universities, for example, CR in France, Karolinska in Sweden, and North Carolina State University, or the rest are in USA. Okay. Some examples of students who did OFYP. The first one, for example, is MIT, Fu Zihao, which is intake in 14-15 academic years. So he did a project about energy efficiency performances of advanced desalination techniques. So desalination technology is very important for Singapore, right? So this is his quotes. He said, I also received critical advices regarding my graduate school applications from the MIT career offices, which had been instrumental in my successful readmission to MIT, meaning that after the OFIP in MIT, he was readmitted to MIT as a PhD student, which is all proud. Another student, okay, he did internship with the SE3D in USA, a company. And what he's doing creation of a bone marrow microenvironment niche. So he said, I feel privileged to witness passionate individuals and professionals coming together to drive research forward. Okay, so probably in a small places, in a small group, research group in NTU, you may or may not be able to have this experience. Okay, but if exposed to a very different cultural environments, the way they do research, the way how they drive research, the methodologies could be very different. Okay, so he said, I also had many networking opportunities, attending conferences, holding workshops, as well as meeting clients of international background. Overall, the overseas experience has truly been eye-opening, and I'm thankful for this invaluable and unique opportunities. Okay, and another example is Peking University, which is one of the top universities in China, in Beijing. This is also quite old intake, 15 to 16s. Of course, we also have many new examples in 19 to 20. Okay, she did reflection removal towards high performance fine grained object search. Okay, he said, I would say that the research experience in Peking University is one of my favorites. After the many opportunities that I had throughout my undergraduate studies, the experience was remarkable due to the essence of the project and also the people involved in the project, new friends, my mentor, and my supervisor. I suppose research might be one of my career options after all. Okay. Also have a University of Montreal in Canada, and we also have a local. So because of COVID-19, since last year, we have to ask our students to take local FYP plus some remote FYP. Okay. So local FYP, that means you can do research in local companies, right? Many companies have local research, as long as they're doing some projects related with science engineering, okay, in nature, then you can do it. Okay. Of course, you can also do research in a lot of research centers in NTU. Those kind of international joint research centers in NTU with all those kind of giant companies. Okay. And for remote FYP, we have some existing cases here. Students are doing FYP, doing regular webinars and Zoom meetings with interaction with the mentors or with other lab mates. Okay, so these are existing cases like University of Oxford, Leicester, Chemical Engineering in MIT, School of Earth and Environment, University of Canterbury, and Cornell universities. Okay, of course, for this remote FYP, we also need our students to have a local FYP as a co-supervisor, have a local co-supervisors. Okay. And if you want to do local FYP, that means you have to stay somewhere. If you stay at home comfortably, if you take all the courses at home, remote learning comfortably, then it's okay. You don't have to stay hall of NTU. But if you want to stay hall, NTU hall, so in addition to the 2,000 accommodation allowance from Nanyang Scholarship, which is already in the package, you will be also provided with another one-off accommodation allowance up to 2,000. Okay, this is on top of the 2,000 here. This is extra, but this is a cap at 2,000. So that means if you stay in the whole year, consecutively 2 semesters, you don't have to pay anything to the accommodations, not like before. And you also have a project fundings, which is 1,000 Singapore dollars per scholar for the project supervisors for the purchase of consumables and materials. Of course, you can also do it for other purpose as long as it's related to the project you are doing with him or her. And I want to say something about overseas learning trip. Usually is organized during summer break. Before, okay, it was suspended in 2020 and probably also suspended in this year. But most likely will be resumed in November, December time this year. So overseas learning trip, a group of students, about let's say 10 students together, pay a travel to some institutes. For example, it can be basically can be any country, but we have a list of institutes that are doing this overseas learning trip with us before. Okay. For example, this is European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, that we have been doing since 2015 till 2019. This is in Geneva, Switzerland. This is a photo of students, okay, visit the labs. And this is another Karolinska Institute in KI in Sweden. And this is a group photo of students for the learning trip. And then they can take do some interaction with the students in the research in the institutes and attend seminars, and even can touch on hands-on experience. Okay. There's another example, is the Southern University of Technology in Shenzhen, China, which is a relatively new university. It's even younger than NTU, but it also developed very, very fast. It's a research oriented or research enriched universities. Okay, so there's a lot of high-end, high-tech research facilities and infrastructures. So our students are quite interested in go there. Okay. And actually, I do encourage our students to take O5P in China also. Okay. So now I come to another section, which is our alumni. What do they do after 4-year study, 4-year training with us? Okay. So of course, I hope I do want all of our senior scholars or graduates still to be excellent, to still excel in any different aspects of their life. Okay, but they may go to different part of their life, but whatever we have learned before in NTU will be going to be useful. Okay, so let's take some examples, some statistics of what they're doing. This is a recent career graduate studies for class of 2020. This is very, very new. And based on the percentage here is based on the total number of graduate students. As you can see, majority, which is the red pie, the majority are working or already have secured a job, more than 5%, 63% in different labs. Okay, actually, some of these are research institutes also, like A-STAR, DSTA is still research institutes. Okay, and some are taking further studies as a PhD, or they are accepted into postgraduate programs. Some already studied, some are recently accepted. About 1/3 of the students are continuing research studies. Okay. And another small numbers are taking traineeship programs or yet to respond, 2%, for just one student not respond to us. Okay, the response rate is quite high. Okay. So now this slide shows what our alumni are doing, what kind of specific careers they are doing. Okay, let's say The purple one, about 30%, 1/3 is doing semiconductors. This industry, because the semiconductor is a pillar industry in Singapore. Okay, there's a lot of fabs in Singapore, like semicon, like global foundries. And the next largest one is manufacturing, 22%. Okay, manufacturing. Probably also includes biomanufacturing, drugs, and some other microelectronics. Okay, and 7% goes to electronics. Okay, and telecommunications 7%. This 7% actually quite small number, maybe less than 5 students, and 7% go to engineering. So this number of students, all these small ones, except the dark purple, except the semiconductors, except manufacturing, the rest are all the same percentage. Some teaching, some artificial intelligence, oil and gas, and go to research and development. Okay, research development could be in university, could be also in A-star institutes. Okay, now I'm going to show you some examples what our alumni are doing in industry. These are 4 examples that our quite early batches of our scholars. And this updated profile or their titles. For example, Chang Chi-Ming, Aaron, he graduated from math in class of 2011. Currently, he's a deputy director of this MOE program office. And our Christina, she's a finance director of the company taking in charge of skin and personal care in Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa markets. And this is also a math class of 2013. He is a global customer pricing analyst. So as you can see that the math he learned is really being used for his job career. Another MAEC, mechanical and aerospace engineering, class of 2013 also. Sherry, she is a national officer in the World Meteorological Organization, WMO. Okay. Meteorological. Okay. Some other examples. Another example is the industry, again, is the class of 2019, which is more close. He's a research engineer in DSO Rationale. So this is still related to research. Okay. And this is another AERO, class of 2017. She is doing fluids research and testing engineer in this company called Airflow Science and Corporation. So you can see that what she's learning in the aerospace engineering is really being used again in his career. And this one is Johnson & Johnson. Is a business analyst. So she's doing some business stuff because she learned computer science and engineering, right? And another example, this is a very close class 2020, just about 1 year ago. He graduated from MAE, Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. So he's now a process integration engineer in Micron Technology, which is a semiconductor fab, semiconductor industry. Okay, and some of our alumni are in academic careers. So in order to be academic, in order to be, let's say, faculty or professor in a high institutes, usually you need to do PhD, followed by 2 to 5 years postdoc. Okay, so usually they will take longer time. That's why you see these are all very old batches. Tao Biaoshuai is graduate from math class 2012. He's currently assistant professor in Shanghai Jiao Tong universities. So you can imagine that class of 2012 plus another 4-year PhD. Let's say if he did a PhD in US, it's a 3-year master plus another 3-year PhD is 6 to 8 years. Okay, and then probably he didn't do postdoc, already studied associate professors. And then Nanny is now my colleague in physics department of School of Physical Mathematical Science. She's our first female faculty in our department, and she also receives a very high prestigious this Nanyang Assistant Professor awards. Okay, and Xie Shihan, graduated from MAEC, class of 2013. She's currently assistant professor in economics in University of Illinois, and Yo Xiong Wei Jonathan is also graduated from MAEC, class of the same year, so they are classmates, same batch. He's assistant professor in NTU now, School of Social Science. That means some guys already come back. You already see 2 examples of our graduates that are coming back to NTU as a faculties, which is very good. I do hope that if every year got faculty come back to NTU, wow, I feel so proud of that. Okay. Of course, a lot of students are still doing graduate studies in PhDs at different universities. For example, this is Canada, Waterloo, Northwestern University, MIT, Imperial College London, University of Southampton, MIT, Texas A&M, and Ohio State. So most likely, these guys are done OFYP in these universities, or even not. Let's say they take OFYP in Cambridge, and then got a PhD in Oxford. That's wonderful, right? That's nice. Or you did OFYP in Harvard, you get a PhD admission to MIT. That's even wonderful. You have experience with 2 universities, right? So that's really something that I feel very proud that you will feel proud and your parents will feel proud. And the Scholars Achievements in the Global Undergrad Awards 2020. So this is a very prestigious award this is an international award, okay? Every single student in the world, in any universities, are eligible to participate in the awards. If you get awards out of it, that means you are competing with any guys at the corner of every corner on the earth, right? So so students can submit the work that achieved during the research attachments, during the making and tinkering, during the FYPs. Okay, so this is a last year 2020 we got 7 awards from different batches. One is AY 16-17, the other is 18-19. Okay, this is 2 intake students. So very proud that we got 7 awards. Okay, so I believe that in the future we may have more. Okay, so if you receive these awards, it becomes a very important line in your CV in your future. Okay, which may be helpful for you to go further studies PhD or go to industries. Okay, and you also have the chances to attend the conferences. Usually you will attend the conference to receive the award and give some talk there. And all the travels will be subsidized by CNYSP office. Okay. So basically that's all the information I want to share with you guys. And important, I mentioned just now, you have a guaranteed whole stay during the 4-year study. But if you're beyond 4 years, let's say you want to extend to 5 years, because you have a 1 semester's LOA, leave of absence, doing, let's say, part-time job or doing internship, they want to extend beyond 4 years, then you have to pay by yourself. But usually it's not a big deal. And NTU it's been reshaped during this past 5 years. It's still been reshaped. The campus is now, I think, one of the most beautiful campus in among many universities in the world. So this is a recently renovated Yunnan garden that we have a different level of lakes. We have the bridges, and we have the birds, and we have the small ponds and the rivers. It's very beautiful places. It becomes one of the places of interest in Singapore that you can see a lot of tourist buses come to campus every day. Okay, and you'll feel proud that you don't have to pay. You don't have to buy air tickets. You don't have to buy accommodation. You are staying in a place of interest. You are studying there. Okay, so you can just walk by and enjoy the environments. And yes, that's all about it. So if you want to have more information, you can go to our websites, NTU websites. Also have our Instagram sites, also have our Facebook. You can get more information. We'll keep updating in this social medias. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention, guys. Welcome to come to CNY program.